Got a mega box of 2025 Bowman Baseball cards, uh, 10 card pack, or four 10 card packs, and two exclusive 5 card Chrome mega packs. And you pay $50 for that. For one of these boxes. That's the retail. It wasn't long ago you could get a mega box for $20, and I think they had 10 packs in them. I don't know what the good cards are in here, so if anybody sees anything that I got good, let me know. It happens a lot that I don't know much about what I'm opening, and usually don't find out until afterwards. So if you do see something, go ahead and make a comment. Um, it just happened. I just opened a couple of value boxes of 2024 um, Heritage High Number. Looking for skeins. Got a couple of skeins out of those. Did pretty good. Hit an autograph in one. Got a Chrome Noel V. Marte rookie card in another. Did pretty good in those. But they also had some cards that I didn't know what they were, and I forgot also to get the short prints too from the high number set. It's a 25 card set, which is pretty manageable. But let's see what we got. Oh, also wanted to talk about a PSA submission. Doesn't look like anything special there. It was an interesting submission. I hadn't made a submission in a while, and I had a stack of cards, and it's always cards that I've pulled out of packs. It's nothing that I've bought or anything like that. And the vast majority of the submission was cards under $20, um, less than the cost of getting them graded and slabbed. And I had a handful of cards that were probably worth between 50 and 100, and then I had another handful of cards that were excuse me, worth about between 2 or 300, something like that. And this was all raw, of course. Um, so what was interesting is there were several cards in this lot, especially in the low end and the mid range, that I figured would probably get an 8 or something like that. And the reason I do the low end cards is it's just something I like to follow through the years. That a lot of them are young players within the last handful of years, say 4 or 5 years. Up and coming players, things like that. Uh, that I just like to get a base rookie card or something like that, or two, and something that, like I said, that I've pulled, and I get them graded. I'm not even concerned. I put them away, and every once in a while I'll pull out and check out what I got, and kind of go through in my mind how they've been doing, things like that. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like playing the penny stocks, playing the stock market with penny stocks. It's kind of the similar way with baseball cards. So, but it's most people don't even get cards graded that are that cheap. And what was interesting is that I notice that in my submission, and you have to remember now, I'm picking the best cards that I can find. If I don't think it's going to get at least a 9 or a 10, and there was one card, um, older card that I'd had for years that I wanted to get slab more than anything, and I expected it to get a low grade, and it did. Um, but I'm not sending anything in that I don't think is going to get at least a 9, and I'm hoping for a 10. And but there were some that I thought I might get an 8, and I wouldn't have been too upset about it. I didn't really care. Um, but definitely not. These were in the low to mid range. The handful of cards I've submitted, and it was 5 cards that were in the $200 to $300 range. Those were all cards that I was hoping for 10s. There wasn't one of them that I thought, oh, it's probably not a 10, but I'll take a 9. I was all hoping for 10s on these 5 cards. The low end and the mid range stuff, some of them, especially the mid range, there was a few cards in the mid range that I figured I might get an 8, something like that. And then there was the older card I mentioned. But the low end stuff, I really, when I look these cards over, I'm looking really 2 things. I'm looking at centering and corners, front and back, things like that. And I'm looking at it with a decent magnifier. When I got them back, which I just did recently, I inspected them with a loupe. And even did, like the reflection, see if you could see anything on the surface that sticks out that might not be apparent, even in a loupe. But what surprised me is how many of the low end cards came back as 10s. And I remember as I was looking at them and inspecting them more closely with the loupe, I was finding all kinds of problems with these cards. And I kind of got the impression that they were kind of looking at the same things I did when I sent it in, just maybe centering and corners, and didn't really spend much time on those cards, is kind of what I'm saying, is that as the value went up, it appeared they spent a little more time grading the card, which I thought was really interesting. And I'll explain in a minute. So I was, first of all, like I said, I was surprised at how many of the low-end cards and the mid-range cards, there was some disappointments with that. I got a couple of cards that had come back as an 8 in that I kind of anticipated they would be 9s. I didn't figure they'd be 10, but I didn't think they'd be an 8. And I just thought that was interesting because I knew some of the low-end cards were the same condition, if not worse. And there were some low-end cards I legitimately thought I was going to get an 8, and I got a 10. There was like a couple like that. I was shocked. And there was a couple of the mid-range that I got a 10 on that I thought were going to be an 8. But then there was some that were 8 that I thought were going to be 10s. But I really noticed this in the high-end cards. Of the 5 cards, I got 2 10s, and they were the least expensive of the 5. The 3 most expensive cards, I got a 9, an 8, and an 8. I got 2 8s on cards that I thought would get 10s. And I was angry at first, and I'm still angry because as I thought about it, I kind of started thinking about something. I literally looked those cards over. I could not find, other than maybe some dust. I couldn't see anything on the cards that would even make them a 9, unless there was, just some dust issue or something. Like I said, I looked both sides over with a loop. Didn't see anything that I thought would warrant an 8. I was shocked. And actually, the main reason like I said, I hadn't done a submission in a while. The main reason I did the submission was I was kind of curious to see what the new cases were like. My understanding is they're doing some new cases. Um, but yeah, and I started thinking about it, and I thought, there's a reason they rubber stamp those low end cards, because they're not going to go through the trouble of of really looking them over, and they'd rather give you a high grade on those and make you think, oh, look, we're generous and we give high grades and things like this, but they're not even putting in the effort on those cards. The reason they get a little tougher as the card price, the value of the card goes up, and I'm convinced of this, is because of the regrading service. They have every reason to want to be very picky on a card. Like I said, these were in the $200 to $300 range. They have every reason to be picky on those, because those would be the cards that would be worth sending back in to get a regrade. You're not going to send in a $10 card, to get a regrade. But you would take a chance with a more expensive card. And they know this, and it's pretty obvious. And, my understanding is they now supply notes with the higher level service, and I did the value service. It didn't matter to me. These were low end cards that I was planning on keeping, and the few more expensive ones I was planning on selling. And I was in no hurry to get them back or anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. But it's pretty apparent what was happening there. I was shocked at how many 10s, like I said, that I got in the low end cards, and just as shocked as and the funny thing is, a lot of the low end cards were paper cards, like even Heritage, and the 5 high end cards were all chrome cards. So it was quite interesting experience, to say the least, and it's pretty apparent. They're trying to make money on getting a regrade on those. So that's just something to be aware of. It was, not to mention the fact that they now buy these cards, and who knows what happens after that. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's very ethical for them to be even offering a regrading service, as a matter of fact, but I understand. But yeah, so obviously the 3 cards that I said didn't get the grade that I thought they deserved, I'll be getting a regrade on those 3. But I'm going to wait a while, because as I was talking about how they supply notes on the higher level service, and it might be worth it to go ahead and send these back at a higher level service where I get the notes now. But I'm not sending any more cards into PSA till they start supplying notes for every level of service. For the amount of time that it took to get the order at the value level, uh, they've got more than enough time to write a couple of notes on whatever card that doesn't warrant a 10 and the reason. Yeah, because I literally could not find with these three cards other than dust, and really two of them, it wasn't even a dust issue. I couldn't find anything wrong. Um, and one was just a barest of dust issue. And so and definitely didn't warrant. It was one of the cards that got an 8. So um, yeah, when I can't even look at the card that gets an 8 and can't find any obvious reason why it got an 8, that's pretty suspicious. You should be able to almost immediately, look at a card and be able to tell why it got an 8. Um, there was no obvious issue, and this is what's really disturbing about the whole thing. So until I start seeing notes, um, whether that's going to a high level service, which I may do with these three cards since they were more expensive, and see that I'm doing exactly what they want, but I'm not even going to do the value level until they start supplying notes. And I honestly would recommend you all wait till they start doing that. They said they're going to do it. I'll be interested to see if they do. Um, so, okay, let's go ahead and get going here. Juan Soto, Spencer Schwellenbach, Kedel Marte, Sebastian Walcott, Fabian Lopez, first Bowman, might be a good one. Who knows? Cameron Sullivan, first Bowman. Caden Kendall, first Bowman. As I said, I don't know whether any of these guys are good or not. I haven't looked them up yet or anything. I do know getting the first Bowman is good. Jacob Wright on the first Bowman, Willie Adames, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yeah, but that was quite an interesting experience with that submission. Okay, now I think we got something good on this one. Oh, yeah, I saw that. It was one of the red rookies. Okay. Excuse me. Let's go ahead. Well, we'll just do it this way. Kyle Tucker, William Contreras. Oh, it's a Jacob Wilson red rookie. How about that? How about that? I've actually had some good luck with Jacob Wilson. I got a short print of his out of Heritage this year. So that was pretty nice. And now we got a red rookie. That's actually, let's see what the centering is. Speaking of PSA, yeah, looks pretty good. um, I might look closer, but that might be one worth sending in right there. I would think that might be maybe a $50 card. I'm just guessing. If you know right now, go ahead and type it in, because you'll probably know before I do. Yeah, not bad, not bad at all. I don't, I don't know who else is in that set. Maybe James Wood, I guess, would be one that might be more. I don't think Kurtz is in it unless he's in it as a prospects still, possibly. Cade Horton, Kevin Castillo, and these are first. That I don't know if I'm imagining anything, but for some reason I'm thinking maybe he might be a good one. Framember, Montilla, excuse me on the name. Jonah Tong on the chrome first. Alex Mooney on the chrome first. I'm liking that we're getting all chrome first. I'm wondering if maybe because sometimes you get like a prospect on these chrome, and I mean it's all right, but that's like a second year Bowman card when they have a prospect on there, and I haven't seen anything, not even in paper, and it may be that they're not even putting that on there anymore. That's possible. Jose Altuve, or not even including the guys. Abdel Amador. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to see if we get any prospect cards. I haven't seen one yet, so not in paper or chrome. Excuse me. Make sure I keep on camera here. That's an issue. Bryce Harper, Fernando Tatis, Mason Wynn, Esteban Gonzalez. It looks like they don't do prospect cards anymore in here, which is good. I mean, it's fine to say first, but what's the point in saying prospect? See now, oh, that's first too. Jesus Lopez might be a good one, I think. I don't know. Santiago Suarez on the first. Yeah, I'm not seeing any prospect cards, so I guess they stopped that. Interesting. So I guess once you get a first, they may not even be putting the high end guys, which actually is kind of good because it gives these cards a little more value. Luis Robert and Chris Sale. But that one card probably paid for the whole box, I'm guessing. I would think it's $50 probably. I would think I don't know. I don't know. It might be that it's pretty common, so it's hard to say. I don't know. Doesn't look like anything else. And again, if you see that I missed something, let me know. Wyatt Langford, there's a Dylan Cruz rookie. That's not bad. Yeah, he started picking up a little bit at the end of the season there. The power really started to come. I think you'll see him do considerably better next year in the power department. Alejandro Rosario, Yuri Perez on the other one. Anderson Brito on the first. And that was Rosario on the first before that. Quinn Matthews on the first. I think he's supposed to be a good one. Andrew Norris on the first chrome. And Wenhu Pan on the first chrome. Caden Dana on the rookie. And, one thing I know about Topps is if they have a pitcher in like their flagship set or even Bowman or Bowman Chrome, and it's not like here in this case it's a rookie card, they're pretty good at targeting the guys that they think have like really good future potential. I mean, they may even be better than a lot of sites that do this for a living, I've noticed through the years that a lot of those pictures you think, who is this guy? And they end up doing pretty good. So there's always a couple of guys, it seems like every year, that you see a ton of their cards in some sets and never heard of them, but they end up doing pretty good. Okay, let's check out the mega chromes, I guess, what they call them. Jose Brasino on the first. That's something a little different there. That's interesting. Yeah, those are nice. Genzel Luis on the first. That's nice. There's that. You would give me this name again. I can't even really tell what the letters are. There's okay. Fran Yerber. Fran Yerber. Montilla. Excuse me. Chase Burns on the VIP. Interesting. I'm assuming that's not numbered. Nope. And Kobe Mayo on the rookie. It's a nice one. And last pack. I guess we could put the Kobe Mayo. See, I don't know anything about the prospects in Bowman. I never do. I usually, excuse me, um, only buy one box or two a year of Bowman. I'm not a set builder of the Bowman. Same thing with Chrome. So I don't look into who the good prospects are. I'll put those cards in a shoebox and I'll label it the year and during the season, like maybe over the next few years, if I every once in a while I'll look in through the boxes, see if one of these guys have managed to pan out or something like that. But I don't buy much of it. So last pack. I think you're supposed to be able to hit numbered and colored cards out of here, but I don't know. Now, see, here's, I guess, what they would have called a prospect in the past. It's Connor Griffin. And see, you don't see a first or prospect anymore. That's actually the first one we've seen like that. All those others were first. And I don't even recall seeing one in the set like that. I think this one, Charlie Condon's supposed to be a good one. There's Jackson Holiday. Okay, this was a good one. Luis and Henhel and I don't know how to pronounce that. Acuna on the Rookie of the Year favorites. It's nice looking in the in the mega. And then Thomas White on the first. Nice looking cards. Don't know if I got anything good or not, other than the Jacob Wilson, and that I know is good. The more I thought about it, it's probably like a $20 card, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll find out, and then I'll put it in the notes. But yeah, it's that actually probably, I would think, at least paid for half the box. Never know. Thank you.